Hello again. Before we go on, there's just time to mention that our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon and Harry Breur. It's performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, who's kindly given his permission for us to use it. And now here's Elizabeth again with some more news.
A man from Enfield plunged to his death following a rock slide as he posed for holiday snaps in a picturesque beauty spot in Bulgaria. Although he had not been formally identified, the man has been named locally as businessman and father of two, Ian Anthony Johnson, 57, of Gentleman's Row. According to reports from Bulgaria, he fell to his death last Thursday while taking pictures near the waterfall tourist attraction in the north of the country, near the village of Krushnam. He died alongside his friend, Katia Pavlova, a mother of two, who was also from North London, after 7,000 cubic feet of rock came tumbling from the side of a gorge, knocking the two from the rope bridge they were standing on into the valley below. Another friend who was with them managed to escape from the rock slide and ran for help. After a 48-hour rescue operation, their bodies were found on Sunday. Speaking to local media and quoted in the Daily Mail, Viktor Juzanov, who owns a guest house near the waterfall, said, "The man and woman were under the cliffs. Another woman was taking a picture of them with a camera when it happened. A small piece of rock hit her, but she got away. The couple were buried. It was perfect weather," he added. "There was no rain. It was sunny all day. I don't have an idea why it happened." Around 3 years ago, there was another fall when another cliff came down.
3 bidders are in the running to build the multi-million-pound Meridian Water development in Edmonton. Barrett and Seagrow, Berkeley Homes and Pacific Premium Developer, and Wilmot Dixon have made the shortlist for the scheme, which will provide 8,000 new homes by 2035. The Meridian Water site is in an 85-hectare area of land, part of which had to be decontaminated after British Gas used the site for a gas servo. As well as being charged with building the thousands of homes, the developer who wins the contract will be expected to help the local authority in creating 3,000 new jobs on the site by 2035. The winner of the contract will be announced by Enfield Council early next year. Cabinet Member for Business and Regeneration, Alan Sitkin, welcomed the decision to name the shortlist and said, "We need a world-class partner to help us deliver a world-class development. Meridian Water will transform our borough and play a significant role in driving the growth in North London as a whole. I'm delighted to see the shortlist contains developers of international renown, and I'm really excited about who our successful partner is going to be. They will be instrumental in helping us deliver this ambitious scheme to create thousands of homes and jobs in a superb waterfront environment." Cabinet Member for Housing, Ahmet Ökkener, who has repeatedly cited the need for more social and affordable housing options in the borough, said Meridian Water will provide thousands of much-needed homes in a fantastic setting and will play a significant role in tackling the shortage of family accommodation in our borough. This is an ambitious, innovative and exciting project. It demonstrates the Council's commitment to large-scale regeneration schemes which provide a tangible benefit to both individuals and the wider community.
Spot on a spin-off show from TV's popular Strictly Come Dancing has made pupils at an Edmonton school star turns. Youngsters at Wilbury Primary School in Wilbury Way melted the hearts of the nation's viewers when they appeared as on-screen junior judges on It Takes Two, the weekday BBC Two sister show to Strictly, presented by Zoe Ball. Pupils at different primary schools across the country are chosen each week to give their opinions on the Saturday and Sunday night performances of the celebrity contestants and their professional dance partners. A film crew visits schools and shows clips of the contestants to 2 pupils at a time, recording the youngsters' chatter and their often unintentionally amusing comments. After several of the Wilbury children appeared as junior judges on the show early last month, they were so well received that they were invited back by popular demand, and the film crew returned to the school to record their observations on the Halloween-themed show. It really is a privilege to be selected for such a popular show, and we are all very proud of our children who took to appearing in front of the camera like ducks to water, said head teacher Kate Turnpenny. Their hilarious comments went down a storm with the audience after their first appearance, and apparently Twitter went crazy with postings asking the BBC to bring them back, she added.
Okay, and now we have a quick round of sport. I'll kick off with some rugby. Saracens maintained their perfect start to the new season by grinding out a hard-fought 12-6 victory at Northampton in the Aviva Premiership on Saturday. Neither side ever really looked like scoring a try in a match featuring little flowing rugby in difficult conditions, but Owen Farrell's accurate goal-kicking ultimately proved decisive, as his 4 penalties enabled the reigning champions to pick up their 4th successive win and maintain their place at the top of the table. Saris were boosted by the return of Billy Vunipola from injury, while Schalke Brits Jacques Berger, Brad Birrett and Chris Wiles all made their first start of the season following their involvement in the World Cup.
It is hockey. Southgate got back to winning ways in emphatic fashion with a 5-2 victory at basement-side Harlesden Magpies in the Conference East of the English Hockey League on Sunday. Having bowed out of the cup the previous week, Southgate took some time to get into their stride in this match, and the first half ended goalless. Southgate remained 5th in the table. Meanwhile, Southgate ladies maintained their unbeaten record in Division 1 of the South League with a 5-2 victory at home to Tullis Hill and Dulwich.
Now, table tennis. Young table tennis star Denise Paye performed well to reach the last 32 while representing England at the Hungarian Junior and Cadet Open. The 14-year-old Enfield County School pupil won 2 out of 3 matches in her qualifying group of the cadet girls singles to make it through to the knockout stage, where her good run continued with a comfortable 11-7, 11-9, 11-9 victory over Lucia Popescu of Romania. However, Paye found 6th seed Pei Ling Su from Taipei too strong in the last 32, as a battling display could not prevent her from being beaten. In the doubles, Paye and partner Charlotte Bardsley lost in the first round to Anita Drabant and Viola Fan from the host nation. Paye also competed in the junior category against mainly older opponents, losing all 3 of her group matches in the singles. She then teamed up with Serbia's Edina Benko in the doubles, and the duo came from 2 games down to beat Finnish pair Anna Kirichenko and Annika Lundström in the first round. Their run was ended in the last 32 by 3rd seeds and eventual champions Yu Hyun Lee and Po Thuan Lin of Taipei. In the team event, Payet was joined by Emily Bolton and Kate Cheer in the England lineup, but they lost both their qualifying matches against Belgium and Germany B, with Payet enjoying the only individual victory as she beat Germany's Jenny Wolf.
And now for football, with less difficult names, I think, in this item. A disappointing week for Cockfosters has seen them suffer defeats in both League and Cup. Cockfosters have enjoyed many highs this season, but manager Dean Barker admitted that his players produced their worst performance of the campaign so far on Saturday, when they slumped to a 1-0 loss at struggling Biggleswade United in the Spartan Premier Division. They were then much improved when facing the Premier Division leaders AFC Dunstable in the Challenge Trophy on Tuesday, but still went unrewarded for their efforts as they were beaten 2-0. A goal deep in stoppage time denied Enfield Town victory on Saturday, as they had to settle for a 2-2 draw at home to bitter rivals Billericay Town in the Ryman Premier Division. Town enjoyed the better of the first half, and goals from Bobby Devine and Corey Whiteley put them in control at the interval. But they failed to display the same composure in the second period, and Teddy Nesbitt reduced Billericay's deficit before Alex Stevenson struck with time running out to ensure that the points were shared. Marvin Walker has resigned as manager of Brimsdown FC. Walker enjoyed a hugely successful spell in charge of the side, guiding them to promotion from Division 2 of the Spartan League last season, but, along with assistant Aaron Archer, he has now decided to bring an end to his time with the club. Yusuf Salih and Lee Okagbini, who has been involved with the club since they were founded in 2013, have been appointed to replace them in charge.
Well, we gave you some different...
Yes, I
roll, didn't we? Okay. Protesters against building on Greenbelt land have triggered a full council debate on the campaign. Those living in Cotswold Way, Lather Drive and Enfield Road have been left outraged by plans from housing company Fairview to transform the tranquil green. The campaign, known as Enfield Road Watch, claim it would be a disaster if proposals went ahead and have so far managed to gather 3,964 signatures on its online petition. Maria Turner, one of the lead campaigners for the group, said, "We now have our chance to speak. There's an overall feeling that this would be a disaster, not only for the loss of green belt land, but for traffic reasons too." Pardon me. The land is owned by the Diocese of London, who entered into an agreement with Fairview Homes in 2010 to manage the land on their behalf. Plans for up to 300 homes and an 8-form secondary school are set to be submitted by Fairview. The group is now hoping tonight's full council meeting at the Civic Centre in Silver Street will be packed with campaigners. Ms. Turner said, "Our speech is ready and we're on the agenda to be debated. We have done quite a lot of canvassing. It's not just the feeling from people around us, but the opinion in other parts of the borough that they want to see Enfield remain green." More than 100 local residents were on hand to launch the campaign this summer, and Ms. Turner believes there could be close to 4,500 supporters, including online and paper signatures. This is a huge petition. I was told it's one of the largest that has come to the council in recent times. Save the Green Dragon campaign this year received around 4,200 online signatures in the bid to save the 300-year-old pub in Winchmore Hill. Ms. Turner added, "I think there is a general concern across the country about Greenbelt land. Hopefully our case reflects the public's position." Enfield Council cabinet members have already admitted they're struggling to find new housing spots to cope with the impending population rise. Councillor Alan Sitkin revealed in an interview with the Enfield Independent the local authority may have to consider building on Greenbelt land to cope with the demand. Conservative councillors have made their priority the protection of Greenbelt land.
Pupils at a Southgate school did their bit to spread world peace on Friday with a special balloon release. A dozen helium-filled balloons with peace pledges from each class at West Grove Primary School in Chase Road floated skywards to coincide with the 70th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. Pupils had taken part in a variety of peace-related learning activities, including conducting their own research into the subject, drawing posters and creating poems or raps, as well as making individual peace pledges such as "I will be friendlier to my brother" and "I will be more kind to others." Each class came up with its own peace vows and slogans, which were attached to the balloons, such as "We pledge to be more positive" and "Don't bully, respect others." As the classmates gathered in the playground, the balloons were released simultaneously, climbing swiftly to the clouds until they were just a tiny speck in the distance. The children really enjoyed learning about peace and how they could apply it to becoming ambassadors for peace themselves, said teacher Yazelle Casey. It truly was an uplifting day.
A music school has dressed up as part of a 2-week practice marathon in aid of a children's charity. Four Sounds School of Music in Winchmore Hill have run the fortnightly test in order to raise money for Click Sargent. Children of all ages have gained sponsorship in order to practice over the 2 weeks with special classes held at the school. Celeste Doyle, principal of the school, has branded the 2 weeks very special. She said, We've had over 100 students volunteer to participate, which is heartwarming indeed, and I've been bowled over by the eagerness of these kids and young people to act in aid of this cause. Last year, the school, which teaches around 150 local families, raised over £1,000 for Cancer Research UK. However, Mrs. Doyle is hoping to eclipse that figure this year. She said, "So far we've raised £500 to £600, but we'll continue to fundraise until the end of the year." Teachers have also been dressing up for lessons, as well as the not-for-profit schools or adult glee choir. On choosing the charity, Mrs. Doyle said Click Sargent resonates with the ethos of the school. She said, "They're a paediatric cancer charity, and their ethos to supporting children and their families is wonderful. This is because they're raising money for children of a similar age who are going through a difficult time." At the end of the year, the school will give an award to the pupil who's raised the most for Click Sargent over the 2-week practice-a-thon. Mrs. Doyle told the Enfield Independent that the school is set to host an instrument amnesty, whereby people bring in old instruments for children who might not be able to afford to play.
2 burglars have been sent to prison for a total of 17 years for attacking a family as they attempted to rob a house. Arsid John, 25, of Sir Street, Holloway, and Mohammed, 22, of no fixed address, pistol-whipped and slashed 2 men at a home in Sweetbriar Walk, Edmonton, as they demanded money. The men, aged 20 and 44, both required hospital treatment following the incident on June the 27th, 2014. As the pair fled, one of the victims managed to call police, giving the part registration of a car. When officers searched the car, they found a pair of blood-stained gloves that had the victim's DNA on. John and Mohammed were wearing blood-stained trousers that matched DNA later found at the address when they were arrested on suspicion of aggravated burglary. The pair were charged on November the 5th, 2014. Detective Constable Tony Thrussell of Enfield CID led the investigation. He said, "This was a terrifying ordeal for the victims, who were awakened by John and Mohammed demanding money whilst attacking them. I would like to praise their bravery in supporting the prosecution." John received 7 years and 6 months behind bars after pleading guilty to aggravated burglary, ABH, GBH, and possession of an imitation firearm. Mohammed was found guilty of aggravated burglary and given 9 years and 6 months imprisonment. Hamil Lubin, 24, of Fairfield Road, Edmonton, was found not guilty of GBH, ABH, aggravated burglary and possession of an imitation firearm at Wood Green Crown Court on Tuesday, October the 20th.
The sounds of the West End are set to come to North Middlesex University Hospital in a public concert this month. The hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, is opening its atrium to anyone who wishes to play for hospital staff and patients. Enfield community singers will perform popular songs from Les Miserables, No Business Like Show Business, and Edelweiss on November the 19th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. John Carrier, chairman of the hospital, said, "We're delighted to host the Enfield community singers and to bring some welcome lunchtime enjoyment to our patients and hard-working staff. The arts in the atrium events are an incredibly popular feature of our hospital's life, and we're always looking for new performing talent to take part. It could be you, so please get in touch." The events have hosted the choirs of Wilbury and Raynham Primary Schools in Edmonton, singers and musicians from among the hospital's 3,000 staff, poetry readings, and a photography exhibition.
This is a letter from Wendy Berry, who lives in Seafield Road, New Southgate, and she writes, "I was pleased to read that the council had decided to publicise its plans to change the charging mechanisms for adult social care transport services. Unfortunately, the article, Views sought as Council prepares to wield the axe, in the Advertiser on November the 4th, failed to mention that the consultation ended yesterday, November the 10th, and that the final policy will go before Cabinet next Wednesday, November the 18th. In addition, it didn't mention that proposed cuts will not only affect older people, they will also have a massive effect on people with severe physical and learning disabilities and their carers. I'm the mother of a severely disabled man. I help to run support groups for carers of adults with learning disabilities. We've been involved with this consultation for several months and have encouraged carers to make their views known. Unfortunately, the majority of those for whom they care are not able to do this for themselves. We have attended a number of consultation meetings which have been extremely emotional and angry. So cruel, considering the massive savings delivered by unpaid family carers. Adult social care law is complex, particularly in the light of the 2014 Care Act, which came into force in April 2015. The local authority has many statutory duties, particularly in the areas of assessing and meeting needs and in charging. We believe that proposals in the Council's policy regarding the use of mobility benefits could well be in breach of these duties. We understand that cuts in government grants to local authorities have given rise to unpalatable choices, and we know every Enfield resident must face the prospect of cuts to services and increases to charges and taxes. Nevertheless, it cannot be acceptable to target this single, dreadfully disadvantaged group with such huge cuts to deliver £900,000 in savings.
Almost 20 council workers pocketed more than £100,000 last year, according to figures. Statistics from the annual Town Hall Rich List by the Taxpayers Alliance showed 19 officers receiving six-figure salaries, with 6 of them bagging £150,000 in 2013-14. The highest earner was Enfield's chief executive, Rob Leake, who scooped £181,955. Andrew Fraser, Director of Schools and Children's Services, was the second highest earner with £178,613. Director of Environment, Ian Davis, received £177,087 and is the third highest earner, with Ray James, Director of Health, Housing and Adult Social Care, earning £170,996,000. Only Director of Environment Ian Davis received £177,087 and is the third highest earner, with Ray James, Director of Health, Housing and Adult Social Care, earning £170,996. A remuneration package includes salary and can include other benefits like bonuses. Jonathan Iserby, Chief Executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, said, "Local authorities that are providing more for less and delivering council tax cuts clearly have talented people at the helm, but taxpayers living in poorly performing areas will be furious at the scale of some of these massive pay awards. After more than a decade of reckless spending and council tax hikes, local politicians now have to make necessary savings. We deserve to know how our money is being spent, and taxpayers should have the right to decide if they are getting value for money from public servants." Neighbouring Haringey had the highest number of staff above £100,000 in the country, with 68 employees. The highest earner was Director of Children's Services, who earned £260,860 in 2013-14. An Enfield Council spokesperson said, "Enfield Council manages a budget of more than £1 billion a year and is similar in size, but vastly more complex than most national-sized corporations. As such, the Council needs to employ competent and effective senior managers to oversee this budget efficiently. Salaries within Enfield Council are broadly in line with salaries in the private sector and commensurate to the seniority and level of responsibility associated with the relevant post."
I now have a letter from Joanne McCartney, London Assembly Member for Enfield and Haringey. She says, "Last week it was estimated that London's population could hit 11 million by 2039. News that our city is booming will come as little surprise to anyone who lives, works or travels in the capital. However, this latest estimate should focus the minds of those planning for London's future. With this level of population growth on the cards, it's clear there is only so far the government's mantra of doing more for less can go. Rapid population growth means that the impact of cuts in spending will be felt more deeply. We can already see services creaking under the strain, from overcrowded tubes and buses to an ambulance service and A&Es struggling to cope with growing patient numbers. London cannot afford to stand still. By the time vital projects like Crossrail are completed, we will be well on the way to needing Crossrail 2 and even 3 to keep up with growing demand. And it's not just about infrastructure. With size comes unique challenges and needs. To address these, we need to see more decision-making and funding devolved to City Hall and the boroughs. This freedom would give us the opportunity to mould our services to meet the specific needs of the people who live and work here, instead of sticking with national policies which may not work for local people.
And now I have a couple of crime stories. A 50-year-old woman has been sexually assaulted as she walked from a station. The woman was leaving Cruise Hill Station and down an alleyway leading to Cattlegate Road last Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. She eventually struggled free from the man and was left physically unharmed but extremely shocked. Police are hunting for a white man aged 45 to 50 years old, around 5'10" of slim build. At the time of the incident, he was wearing a short blue jacket, light-coloured trousers and gloves, carrying an umbrella and had a London accent. And the police have asked anybody with information concerning this incident or the identity of the suspect to call Enfield CID on 020 8345 3353 or call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. And then a man has been left with a broken nose after being assaulted. The 38-year-old man was walking down Turkey Street, Enfield, when 3 men stopped the man and punched him in the face several times. All 3 men are described as white and in their mid-20s. One man had a white T-shirt, blue trainers and short hair with a tattoo of human lips on his neck. A second man was wearing a blue T-shirt, white jeans and black hair. The third man wore a grey T-shirt with beige shorts. The incident took place on Friday, September the 11th at around 5:30 p.m. Again, anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Constable Laura Penny at Enfield CID on 020 8345 4340 or Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111.
A band of keen musicians made a fashion statement by wearing onesies in aid of charity during its weekly rehearsal. 30 members of the Enfield Chase branch of North London Brass Network swapped their usual civvies for onesies or pyjamas at rehearsals in Lancaster Road United Reformed Church to raise money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, which supports people with type 1 diabetes. The band is supporting JDRF as its charity of the year and raised £300 at the rehearsal ahead of World Diabetes Day this Saturday. Martin Stogden, the founder and director of North London Brass Network, said, "Type 1 diabetes is a condition that affects some of our members and their families directly. We're delighted to be working with JDRF as our 2016 Charity of the Year to ensure that more people understand the condition as well as to raise funds for vital research." He said the band, for musicians of all ages, was planning more events to raise money for the charity over the next year.
Well, we've reached the end of our programme for this week. Don't forget your reader's representative is Diane de Jersey, and she's on 020 8805 6578 if you need any help with a talking newspaper. And please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible so we can send out the next edition. And that will be with you in 1 week's time.